All right, everybody, what's going on? For those of you who may be in the chat room that is looking right now, please let me know if you can hear the sound of my voice, okay? For those of you in the chat room right now, look like y'all slowly coming in because I see the lights going up. So if you are in the chat room right now, please let me know that you can hear the sound of my voice. Okay, yeah, I got to excuse you. I'm doing multiple things right now, so forgive me. Okay. So you say yeah, you can hear. Okay. Hey, what up, Steve? I wonder you gonna see this, so I'm glad that you're here. Okay. All right, so let me get into it because I don't know how much time this brother got, so we gonna damn, excuse me. We're gonna get right into it. So, all right, guys. So, for those of you who are here, those of you who are going to be listening later, for those of you who are going to come in, later as we doing this podcast or whatnot, y'all know a few days ago I did the story about the 6-year-old who was beaten by the mom and the boyfriend, and we heard in the story that the mom and the boyfriend laughed. Oh man, damn. Okay, I just got a sad message from my man DJ Just J. Damn. Sorry to hear that, bro. If you listening, sorry to hear that. Damn. Y'all know the boyfriend and the mom sat back and laughed as the abuse was going on to the 6-year-old boy. All right. They are in custody right now. But for those of you who don't know the story, I want to play this little clip real quick, try to get you kind of caught up. And we're going to get into the interview with someone who says they know Giacchina and had an experience with him, and it had a bad effect on their life. But before we do that, for those who don't know the story, let me let you hear the story, then we get right into the interview. Let's go. And if you haven't, please hit that thumbs up for your boy. I really appreciate it. Let's get into it.
Cases of child abuse Oakland County prosecutors have ever seen.
As we carefully sifted through the evidence, what we found can only be described as horrific.
25-year-old Elaina Jennings and her 32-year-old boyfriend Daniel Giacchina charged with homicide and child abuse in the first degree in connection with the death of Jennings' 6-year-old son Giovanni, also known as Chulo.
His siblings were present for and witnessed much of that abuse.
It happened at the family's mobile home off of DeQuinder in Madison Heights. Investigators say the boy was confined to a pen in the defendant's bedroom.
He was beaten. He was bound to the wall by using a staple gun to his clothes to the wall, which forced his face into a corner.
Chulo died from the abuse on July 31st. Blunt force trauma to his abdomen, a perforated bowel after a lengthy confinement, according to authorities.
Photos taken during an autopsy in Wayne County revealed that Chulo had bruising and laceration on his entire body. He had an apparent BB wound to his shin.
We talked to a neighbor who lives across the street but says she never noticed anything.
I just seen the kids in passing and the family in passing, and one particular day I saw them at Kroger.
She is hoping this tragedy raises awareness, and if people see something, they say something.
I think we all have a due diligence to children because they're so innocent. They shouldn't have to go through things like this.
Camila Mary, Fox 2 News.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so y'all heard that. I played that for those who didn't know about the story. So if you didn't know about the story, you have heard about the story now, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right into this interview, and we're going to let this brother right here tell you his experience dealing with Giacchina. And Jack, you got the flow, my man. You gonna mute yourself? Let me know if you hear me. Let me know. Can you hear me? Can you still hear
Yep,
me?
I'm all good here. Yep, you can
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep.
Appreciate it, man. I'm glad you give me some of your time, man, to speak on this. Because of course, this is a horrible story. No child go through this. Where nobody should be going through this. Period. But a 6-year-old, a grown ass man, celebrated picking on a 6-year-old, and the mom sitting back letting it happen. It's just unimaginable, man. But we are here today because you was one of the first one that left a comment in my comment section. I was trying to find the comment. I was just looking at it earlier. I don't know what happened to it. But the first thing you said was, this man been doing this stuff, and you told the police a long time ago he's pretty much a menace to society. So, man, talk to me, man. When you heard about this, tell me what you thought you heard about the story first, and then we can get into your dealings with this man, because it sounds like he's just a horrible human being, period. Well, go ahead, bro.
So when I first heard about the story, I was unfortunate enough not to hear it first through the news. I heard it through someone connected to the incident,
Okay.
and it. I'm not gonna lie, for the first day, it wasn't clear what exactly happened, who did what, who was in, how it happened. You know, I don't think anyone would have said that they expected Daniel to do what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And back at it now at, his patterns in his life and, the things he did earlier in his life to other people, it's clear that, like, yeah, he was absolutely capable of it. But, I think just like anyone else, when they hear about something so terrible, it's hard to believe.
Right, right, right. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. So you heard this, and again, you came to me. It was like, you say this fool, and you told me as we communicated back and forth by trying to get you on the show that you'd had experience with this man that has left a horrible factor on your life, man. You want to care to tell us, how you know this man and in a relation to him, or what happened between y'all, and also that you say that it affected you.
Yeah, so I can't be terribly specific because it'll immediately give away who I am.
Go ahead,
But
do your thing. You got the flow. Do your thing.
yeah, but I didn't mute myself, did I? All right, cool. Yeah, he personally in my life, he's crashed 3 of my cars.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, I totaled. Let me be specific here. He's totaled 3 of my vehicles, including the first vehicle I ever owned. He's beaten some of my animals. He used to beat the ever loving stuffing out of me when I was much younger. And that definitely left an effect on who I am and how I am as a person to this day.
Mm. And you know what? And a lot of people don't understand, especially people like him. When they do stuff to us when we're younger, they expect us not to remember this stuff. And when you bring it up, they try to play stupid, act like they don't remember or whatnot. So to hear you say that, and I guarantee that this was to be brought up to him, he'll try like he don't remember this ever happening. So I have to ask you if you can answer the question. By him getting that close to you, where he was able to put his hands on you, was he dating somebody in your family or in your inner circle, anything like that? If you could tell that without giving yourself away.
I could say we grew up in the same house without giving it away. Daniel grew up
Oh
in a
wow.
of 14 to 15 people in the house at any given time, quite a while. So, it was a big family and a lot of chances for things to happen without anybody seeing it.
So you telling me you used to actually stay with this man? You had pretty much front row seat.
Yeah, so after 13, Daniel spent a majority, and I'm not using that, metaphorically. I do mean a majority of his life incarcerated in some kind of way, whether that was juvenile hall, a boys' school, then jail, and then prison. He's spent, I think he's 32 or 33 this year, and he's spent a minimum 15 to 20 years incarcerated in one way or another.
Wow, and it's crazy you say that because I asked one of the questions. When you hear a lot of women who say that they like the bad boys, and I'm dead serious when I ask this question. Is this who you talking about? Because he's bad as hell, and he sound like he has nothing going for himself, and it sound like to me listening to what the little bit you just even said, and looking at the lady who he was dating at the time, he liked to prey on people that he feel that's weak and he can control.
To an extent, honestly, Daniel has a type for the kind of woman who won't put up with his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his baby mama, bless her heart, she's a wonderful person now, but, they met when he was 15 and she was, I want to say 17 or so. And, he put his hands on her, but, she was real quick to put her hands on him as well. And that pattern just kind of continued throughout his life, where he picks these women who, on the outside might be, good and all, but they're certainly not sweet girls. Elaina seemed like an okay person, before this, but she didn't put up with his crap at all.
Oh, so you actually know Elaina too?
Very, very loosely. I've maybe had a couple of conversations with her. Most of what I know about her is through, either Daniel or the grandmother.
Wow. You know what? It's been a while since I did an interview, and the last few ones that I have done, the information I heard, it kind of left me stunned. I didn't know you had like front row seat like that. You actually was in the same house with this man. So, which leads me to ask you this question right here: when he was doing that to you, you said there was a lot of y'all in their house. How did other people receive that? Did anybody try to come in your defense, or did they just let it happen like Elaina did with her child? I mean, how did that work out for you? And if they didn't defend you, what I'm saying, did you just got the courage to fight him back, or?
So, that situation's complicated. There was an extent where, people would step in and say, hey, like you can't beat on them like that, But a lot of it was, they're brothers or horsing around. But, a lot of it, I grew up as a latchkey kid, the grandma owned a business at the time. It was home max a week out of every month. The mother wasn't very attentive, and, the others in the house, they had their own things going on. So there wasn't really a lot of supervision. So, he kind of just had free reign to do his.
Yeah. So when you say free reign like that, let me ask you: did people just act like they were scared of him, or they just didn't really want to deal with him, so they just let him do what he wanted to do?
So I want to say for the first few years, it was more of like an enabling thing, where he was kind of starting to get into a bad place in life. He was starting to go to jail and get arrested and et cetera, et cetera. And, at first people were, well, if we give him everything he wants, maybe he'll be a good kid. And then eventually, there came a point, the exact story is complicated, but it came a point where, it went from a 10 to 15 person family to just the brother, Daniel, and the grandmother. So when it got to that point, the grandma was only able to do so much in order to control him. And it got to the point where, well, I can't get him to stop beating on this kid. So if I just give him whatever he wants, he stops beating him.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. So, it's complicated, I think there was a period of time where she wasn't trying to enable him, but it just got to a point where it became habit.
Right. It kind of like you let it go on for so long till it's too late to try to correct it because he's too far gone. It was too late to correct it.
Exactly.
So I get where you come from in it. And that's with anybody, when you let people do stuff for far too long, and you try to finally step in to correct it, it never works because you let it went on too long when you should have put your foot down in the first place. So when you do try to put your foot down now at a later time, they're not going to take you serious because they're going to look at it like you never done it before. You let me do it before, so what's the problem now? So I get where you're coming from when you say that right there. Man, go ahead.
It also comes down to, Daniel's a pretty physically imposing person. He's not a big guy. His little brother's bigger than him at this point. But, he was a gang member. He owned guns, and he wasn't afraid to bully the grandmother. So it just got to a point where, she felt like she couldn't really do much.
Yeah, yeah.
He's used that poor old woman to the point where she's 74 years old. And mind you, there is no fighting back for her. She's had 13 or so different surgeries, 3 of those on her back. She's not in the shape to be pushing anyone or anything.
Right. I feel you on that.
She's 70, 73, 74, getting up there. She works full time. And because of Daniel, she doesn't have a penny in savings. I mean, the woman had not a single penny. And, he's kind of left her life in shambles. Any life that Daniel's touched, he's essentially ruined.
I believe you. I just going by the story that's being told, you could just tell, man, that, and pretty much, a lot of people like to judge a book by its cover, but you kind of look at him and just say, what does he bring to the table? And that's why I said earlier, is he the type of guy that prey on people that he believes that's wicked, that he can control? And for what it sounds like, that's what it is, because the story is putting it out there that he stayed with his mom, if I'm saying this correct. He stayed with his mom. Elaina stayed with him and the mom, plus the children. Now, let me ask you this, because somebody asked this in the chat room. How many children does he have?
So first, I'm going to correct the statement you made just a little bit. He lives with the grandmother. The mom's been out of the picture for him for about 14 years or so.
Oh, okay.
But he was living with the grandmother. He kind of barged in. She was actually given that home by the brother and her daughter. And the condition of having that home was Daniel can't live there. Well, I want to say within 2-3 days of her moving in there, he kind of barged his way in. And Daniel has 3 biological children of his own, but none of those children in that home were his.
Oh, good.
All of his 2 of his children he's essentially not in their lives. He contacts with them and stuff, but I mean, they're across the country. And the other biological child, I believe might be in foster care at this moment. The little girl, she was with her mother for a little bit. They had broken up, and that woman honestly wasn't all there. So I don't see her being able to keep the child. So I really don't know what's going on there.
Okay. When you say she wasn't all there, are you meaning that, mentally wise?
Yeah, no, she was definitely that. Daniel mostly dated strong women, but when I think back to her, she was definitely like not all there. I think she genuinely had some kind of mental disability, but it felt rude to ask.
Yeah, I feel on that. So when we speak on that, the little that you know about Elaina, what would you say about her mental capacity? What would you say from your own experience of speaking with her, the little that you have spoke with her, how would you describe her mental capacity?
She seemed like she was all there. She was kind of getting Daniel into shape a little bit, He was
okay.
Yeah, at least that's what it seemed. She was, they were saving up for a place. I mean, he had I think his second job in his entire life. Entire life, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I told y'all gonna listen to me one day. I told y'all this dude probably did not bring nothing to the table, man. When you hear this story and it's a progress, y'all gonna listen to me one day. I kind of figured this dude really wasn't doing nothing because, again, they say it's not really a good thing to judge a book by its cover, but sometimes you got to look at that book and be like, something ain't just wrapped too tight, in my opinion. But I said this. I don't think this dude bring nothing to the table. You pretty much somewhere you did confirm it, owning 2 jobs out his whole lifetime. So that means everybody he ran across then pretty much took care of him at some point.
Yeah,
tired of doing it.
Yeah, if he wasn't committing crime to bring in money, which if he was spending it all on ridiculous things. you know, you'd be he'd be in a house with no bed and, you know, no this, no that, you know, the water's about to get shut off, but hey, I got brand new Gucci shoes and this, that, the other, and oh, I bought a gun and just, uh,
Why am I not
genuine
surprised? Why I'm not surprised?
for me.
I am not surprised. Why I'm not surprised, bro. Wow. Damn it, man. This is crazy, man. This is crazy and sad. I think somebody else had something else they asked. Did I miss it? This computer acting crazy. Somebody else said something. Oh, well, I thought they did, but it didn't. They didn't. Oh, somebody just asked a question when I said that. Somebody asked, have you ever met Chulo?
Met is a strong word. I've always been like, I love kids, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've just always been kind of that guy. I don't connect well with adults. And you know,
right.
I do kids don't want to do small talk. They just want you to put them on your back and run around. So you know, most of the kids he ever had, you know, around, because pretty much every girl he dated had their own kids if they didn't have kids together. You know, I was real involved. You know, I was, you know, anytime I came over to see the grandmother, I, you know, see the kids, hey, how you doing? Da da da. I usually play toys or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe twice I ever saw Chulo. Once, you know, I came in the house and he just kind of didn't want nothing to do with me. The other two kids were cool, you know, they came over, hey, how you doing? And that was all good. And that's all I really saw of him the first time. And the second time was probably, oh God, it wrenches my gut. Probably about a week before he passed away. I had come over to, God, what was it? To help grandmother with something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly what it was. Probably something to do with her phone.
Mm-hmm.
But, and, you know, the one couple of the kids came out, you know, he had his ex's daughter with him. He was watching her because she was at work or whatever. They were still friends.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, hugged her. We were good. Said hi to the other two kids. But Chulo was inside looking at me from the screen door. And that is the second and last time I ever saw him.
Man. So let me ask you this. When you saw him through the door, did you ever just get a glimpse of what his face may have looked like? And the reason I'm asking because you said something that touched me, and I speak about this a lot too. When children is like staying away from individuals, is usually a sign for crying out for help, or either they scared of you for some reason.
That's something I think about a lot is, you know, if I had actually gone inside, because I avoided going in the house because, you know, me and Daniel are all right, but I didn't like him. So I didn't really go in the house like that. And when I did, it's, you know, he always had animals and he wasn't very good at training them. So the house would always stink like piss. So I just avoided that. But, you know, I think like if I had gone inside, if I had talked to the kid, if I had, hey, you know, Daniel, show me your room. What's going on? You know, anything. I think about it. I've been thinking about it every day.
I can imagine, bro. I can imagine. Somebody asked what kind of crimes he was going to jail for. What exactly was he doing?
All right, let's go through the list.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Let me try and go off the top of my head. I'll try and go from the beginning. Drug possession, assault, weapon possession.
I think I remember reading that one about the weapon possession. Yeah.
Yeah, that's new. Well, that charge is new, but like he's done that a lot. Like he just, it has to have a gun for whatever reason. But weapon possession, drugs, assault, a lot of assault, drug affiliated stuff, gang affiliated stuff, robberies, muggings, car theft, high speed chases, I think the high speed chase was only once, but still notable. I mean, honestly, if you can imagine a violent or drug related crime, there's a decent chance he's committed it.
Okay. Wow, that is wild, man. That is wild. But again, that's what I said. When I initially did the live, man, I know what I be talking about. I mean, I'm not a street smart dude. I never been to jail or anything like that. But you can you really ain't got to be to jail to know that what goes on with someone. You could just feel the aura of them, or you could just take a look at him and be like, okay, at any given minute, he's gonna do something stupid. If the moment arises, he's gonna do something stupid. All right. If it's something he's gonna gain from it, he's gonna do something stupid. But go ahead.
The tip I tend to give people, and if you look at Daniel, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. If someone's tattoos look like they were jabbed in with a pen, that's a good sign that they're probably not trustworthy. 90% of the tattoos that you can see in those photos were done in prison. And if you look at them, you can kind of see the sketchy outline, the dotty pressure. It's very strange looking. And if you're ever, you see someone with tattoos and you're not sure if they're just a person who likes tattoos or someone who has some affiliations, that's a good sign that they got them in jail.
Okay. I believe you on that. So you said one of these charges was car theft. Now you say he wrecked 3 of your cars. So did he steal your cars, or he asked for your permission to use them?
So the first one, he just straight stole my car. When I tried telling the police that this was, back across the country, they basically told me, well, you live in the same house, your family, so he didn't, it's not technically stealing. So he didn't go down for that, but he went down for some other stuff because he hit and run someone with my car. The second time, I had gone to work and I had walked to work, so I had only worked a few minutes away. And while I was gone, my grandmother had said, oh yeah, no, you can use, Josh's car because he's blocked me. And then totaled that one, and then the same thing happened with the third one, which is when I never ever left my keys around the house again.
I don't get this. Why, if the property ain't yours, why would you give somebody authority to use somebody else's property? And that's a lot. It goes in a lot of families that does that. He or she won't mind because you family, you automatically think we won't mind. Who told you that?
Exactly.
Who told you that I wouldn't mind? If it's mine and I'm paying for it and I'm paying car notes on it, or whatever the case may be, what gives you the authority to tell somebody that I don't mind them using my shit? That's bullshit. How you know? Okay?
Yeah.
So if it's there, if you won't touch it, why would you tell somebody else to touch it? Wow, man. Damn, dude. Wow. I was sorry you went through this, dude. God damn.
Yeah, luckily I got out of the house. I got out of that living situation about 6-7 years ago now. So, unfortunately I still got to hear lots and lots about his escapades and deal with the fallout of his poor choices. But, it is what it is,
So let me ask you this: do you know anything about Chulo? Was he going to school or anything, or you just didn't really just see anything of him that often?
So I don't know as in, I asked or anything, but I've been reading almost every single news article that's come out and all of the speakings by the prosecutor and the probable cause hearing. And what it sounds like was he was in school and he was pulled out.
I tell y'all the same thing. Y'all gonna listen to me one day, man. Have y'all heard this time and time again when it comes to these stories? These folks be having their children in school, but for some reason, they just take them out, okay? They take them out of school. So again, this woman tried to protect this man so he won't get in trouble. As a matter of fact, you just reminded me because I think I read something in the article when I played it when I went live last time that she wouldn't let him go to school, was trying to protect Daniel because he had bruises and stuff all on him and she didn't want him to go to school. so Daniel would get caught. You know, so I mean, again, artists, y'all gonna listen to me one day. I say this all the time. It's coming to fruition. Every time I do these shows, every time I do these interviews, we are hearing just exactly what I said without even talking to somebody who may be surrounding the story or whatnot. Okay? So, bro, I had to ask you if you could just make an estimated guess, you know, or less that you know. Why was Chulo picked out for him to be doing all this to him?
So uh, I don't want to, speak ill of a dead child in any sort of way.
Right.
So I'm going to try and phrase this very, very carefully.
Go ahead.
From what I understand, Chulo may not have been all there. I don't believe this has come out on the news yet, and I'm not exactly sure about the day that it happened now because of some other information that's come out. But sometime between a week and a day before Chulo's death, his mother had been whipping him with a belt because he had, soiled himself. So it seemed to be like maybe they weren't mentally equipped to handle a child who was maybe a little more difficult to handle, and took that out on him. And I imagine doing that kept the other two in line. So it was probably a cause and effect of, well, he did this, so we're going to punish him, and now the other kids aren't going to get punished because they see what happens when you pee on yourself, or you don't do exactly what I say, or you look outside the corner when you're supposed to be sitting in. It's just sick stuff.
Dude, I said that too. I said, if I'm not mistaken, I said, I don't know if this boy had autism or any mental disabilities, but I won't be surprised if that's what comes out. And again, you just proved my point again. I'm almost guaranteed that's probably what it was. He had mental issues or disability or maybe autism or something. Who knows exactly what it is until it actually comes out, if that's what it was. She probably could handle it at one point, but at one point just said, she tired of it. And at one point he probably he didn't want to deal with it either, So they just both just say, fuck it. They just punish him for everything that he does. Forget the fact that, he may be slow in learning a lot of stuff. But still, we're going to give him hell for doing it. And just like you said, I ain't even think about that part right there. They let the other children see it, and it did get them in line. Because, man, they saying in the news that they took pictures that went so far, had the other children holding guns, I think pointing it at Chulo. I think it was BB guns or something, but they had a picture of the other two pointing a gun at Chulo. I said, ooh, that is fucking disgusting, man. But go ahead. You try to say something. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, no, you're, so actually it's even worse than what you think. So Daniel didn't have what we would probably call a real gun. He had a ghost gun, which is basically something that's 3D printed or in some way made that it's not a factory made gun. This gun had a laser sight on it. This gun used live ammunition. That is the gun that had a laser pointer on Chulo. And they're not sure who was pointing it, but it's from the angle, probably a child. So Daniel had not only was he pointing a gun at a child, loaded or not, he probably had a small child holding that gun. And that is the prosecutor interview if you want to double check and see exactly what's said.
You say you had a prosecutor interview? What can I find?
I'm saying that that's what the prosecutor says during the not interview, but the conference.
The conference.
Yeah, the conference.
Okay. I'll probably play it again. So this right here, what they speaking of, what you just said, because I don't even think they went in. From what I read, they ain't even going into that much detail. Are there pictures floating around where they showing this that the children holding guns and pointed at Chulo, or you said it had an angle where you saw a laser sight or something? Are these pictures floating around?
No. So these pictures aren't floating around. That's just the kind of the description that the prosecutor gave. I might be fuzzy on the bit where they explain the exact angle. I might be making that up in my head, but I know they said that they had a picture of a gun being pointed at the child. There's actually, let me see if I can look at this for you and tell you where I saw it, because I just looked at it before heading here. Yeah, so from the community advocates channel, because he actually just posted the probable cause hearing from, I want to say about a day ago. It's the community advocate something. It's on YouTube under like Michigan versus Giacchina and Jennings. And during that, you know, the prosecutor says they have over 200 photos. They're pushing back the court date to 9/11 because there's so much evidence. There is so much that they have to go through. So,
God, Jesus Christ, man, that is crazy, man. It's wow. So let me ask you this: they said that this woman and this man sat back and looked at pictures and laughed at what was going on. So let me connect it back to you. When he was doing the fuck shit that he was doing to you, did he do the same to you? Laughed at you while he was doing it?
Oh, 100%. You know, I'm not gonna tell the story. Yeah, you know, fuck it. There is actually a specific time I can remember. The first time I ever used drugs was when I was 5 years old, because Daniel and a couple of the other, you know, teenagers or whatever in the house, we took me to a park and, hey, you know, Josh, hit this blunt. It'll make you feel great. Or whatever. Can't remember. I think they told me it tasted like chocolate or whatever. You know, stupid. And that was laced with cocaine. So, and I can specifically remember, you know, absolutely losing my fucking mind, rolling around on the ground, and they were all laughing. And specifically, Daniel was laughing. He was the closest to me, and I can specifically remember the face of him thinking that shit was hilarious. So yeah, that's definitely in character for him.
So in other words, man, put all this in a nutshell. The dude pretty much is just a piece of shit. Just call it what it is. He's a piece of shit. Yeah. No, he's a horrible human being, and it disappoints me greatly that the state does not have the death penalty. Okay, wow. This shit is blowing my mind, man. I'm pretty much sure the people in the audience, because I'm looking at some of their reactions, it's blowing their mind too. Let me ask a question, because I think somebody asked this, man. When they talk about, or when you talk about drugs, I don't think the prosecutor talked about drugs, not that I heard, not from the conference that I heard of, but I mean, it's not shocking. I kind of figured they played a part. If you could tell me, man, what kind of drugs are we talking about here?
So let's start with the ones I know for sure, and then we'll go through the ones I suspect. I know he did like every pill you can conceive. Like, damn. Yeah, like just pills, like to the point where he has severe liver and kidney damage, where there was a point while he was in prison where he almost died because his liver was failing from the years and years of pill abuse. Cocaine, marijuana, which nowadays isn't a big deal, but yeah. I suspect meth. No, actually, no, he's told me it's meth. Molly, I wouldn't doubt it if he's done crack. There's been a few times I went over and seen him, and he's acting real funny. But just, he's at least dabbled in all of them. But, you know, consistently, probably lean and pills.
What about ice?
You're gonna have to use a less colloquial name for me. I don't know what that is. Okay.
To the person in the chat room, well, I think you already said it. So, but
I think that's.
If you want to tell me, because I'm ignorant, I don't do drugs, so I'm ignorant. I'm lost on that one too. But I heard of it, but I'm lost on that one too. To the person who put that in the chat room, asking it was it ice? What exactly is ice? I think I got a clue what it may be, but I'm gonna see what she tell me. And it's probably gonna take a minute for.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, but most likely, yeah. Whatever it is, most likely. He was supposed to be getting clean, and there was a
Oh, you already
significant
said it
time.
myth. You already said it myth. You already said it myth.
Okay, cool. But there was a period of time, and this is the thing that really gets me is it did seem like he was kind of getting his life together. He was still a piece of shit. He still treated his grandmother like a fucking slave, but he was getting a job. He was looking for his own place for the first time in his life. It seemed like the up and up, and he was supposed to have been clean. And to me, whenever I went over there, he seemed like he was clean. I never saw him high again after, I want to say, about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought he was clean, but I mean, there's no way you do that kind of shit sober. I don't care how ill you are. There's no way.
Right. If you can tell me, only if you can tell me, do you think Elaina was on something too, or he probably got her addicted to something?
I don't know, but just from the looks of her as someone who's interacted with a lot of people like that, she's definitely done drugs before.
Okay.
If she tried saying in court that she'd never done drugs before, I would find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, I would too. I would too, or either that, or she just really had hatred for the son that was less fortunate to be normal, as a lot of people call it, But I'm with you though, because I always say that when people come into our life, a lot of people have baggage that come with them, And if you're gonna bring them in, then you're gonna pretty much, I ain't gonna say you got to accept the baggage. But investigate what the baggage is. Now, you still want to deal with them and they got that baggage, then, hey, it is what it is, And some people will come in and have an effect on your life, because I've heard a lot of times that a lot of women will let guys in their house who ain't just really bringing stuff to the table, they be having their education going on, try to get their degree and stuff going on, but this person will present something different to them, and they would get into it and start getting addicted to it. So that was the reason why I asked you that, could it be possible that he came into her life and started getting her addicted to drugs, and she probably wasn't taking it at first, and that's vice versa with a woman coming into a man's life, I mean, she could convince him to try something, and they get hooked on it, and it just fucks up their whole life. So that's why I asked you that question. Now, I can believe you, because I say this all the time too. Somebody like Daniel, everybody who come around, if it is sunshine, it ain't gonna be no more. It ain't gonna be no more. Okay?
I'm under the impression, I strongly believe that, because as much as, Daniel did what he did to me as a kid, he was an amazing father to his 2 biological children when he was there. I mean, I'll have to talk to them now, but, she still wanted a relationship with him, one of his kids. So I imagine he was never abusive with them. I know for a fact, there's a couple of other kids that he's, interacted with and been with. And, I interacted with those kids enough to notice if something was up.
Right.
And I hope so. So to me, as sick as he was, I feel like that woman had to have brought something out in him, because other than when he was himself a child, I had never in my life seen him lay hands on a child. He never even spanked his kids. So, yeah. So and that's why I was so, absolutely boggled when this thing first came out, because, he messed me up. He messed his brother up. But, as an adult, he wasn't like that with kids. But, I don't know if maybe the years of drug abuse had finally kind of hit something in his brain, or if this woman, and even if she didn't, and he was already like this, this woman had to be some kind of evil herself already.
Yes.
Because there's just no way that in 2 months of being with someone, because they weren't together long. They got together in March, I believe. There's no way in that short of amount of time you go from I would never beat my child to I will let my boyfriend staple my child to the wall.
Thank you.
Yeah. So she had to have been, some type of monster herself before all of this.
And that's fair to say. And that's fair to say. And you may be right. You may. I don't think you may be. I'm saying you 100% right. Because I feel the same way, including the drugs as well. So it's just a whole shit show. Uh, this whole thing is a whole shit show, man. But let me ask you this, because somebody that's just in the audience. Has law enforcement tried to reach out to you to get any details? Have they tried to talk to you?
So it was probably 3 or 4 days after what had happened, and I hadn't gotten any calls or anything, even though, I mean, the grandmother was interrogated, and there's just absolutely no way my name didn't come up.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and so I thought, a few days after, I haven't gotten any calls. Maybe they don't have my number. And then I looked at it, and it's the detective on the case, or at least the contact detective, was the detective that I have personally had interaction with due to a previous incident of death threats from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what's good? This guy definitely has my number. Okay, whatever. Called him, didn't call me back right away. Got a call back about a day later. I told him some of what I've told you here, basically like, hey, character witness stuff essentially. And, that was about the end of it. They called me back once more, I think, to just get some like, hey, this is what you said, right? But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, I reached out to them.
Got you. And I guess, man, one of my last questions, and again, man, I appreciate you coming up, man. I guess one of my last questions I would ask you is, according to the first comment that you left, you said that, you told the police a long time ago that this man pretty much is a menace. If you could tell me what had occurred at that time for you to say that you had already told the police that this dude was going to end up doing some more stuff, and what was their reaction to you when you told them?
So the first several times were probably because about 12, 13, I started getting balls up to like stand up to him and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they would come to get him because he would always, every time he got out of jail, he would be on probation, obviously, and he would just always skip out on probation. So, I can remember a minimum of 20 times that my house has been raided for him. And
Jesus
the
Christ.
first, yeah, like, I mean, and I don't mean just like a couple of cops, I mean like full teams, dogs, and everything. And up to, I want to say, just about 18, every time it happened, hey, like, you should make sure he doesn't get back out. Like, this is the type of person he is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at his record, he's gonna keep doing this. Like, maximum sentence, maximum sentence. And he just kept, like, with some of the crimes he's committed, and not all of them were at once. He should have been in for he shouldn't have been out right now.
Right, right,
You know?
right.
And so to finish what I was saying, because I got sidetracked a little there, but yeah, no, I told them it was basically in every interaction that we had that, hey, like, this guy's dangerous. I want to say the last time was maybe a year ago when the grandmother's house had burned down, and because
What?
yeah, Daniel insists it wasn't his fault, but the fire started in his room, so I'm convinced he was playing with fireworks or doing something he shouldn't have been. Burned down our house, and I obviously went over there as soon as I heard about it. And while I was there, cops showed up, and I straight told them like, "Hey, like, you guys should really look deeper into what happened here because I think he did something here. Maybe not on purpose, but either way, there's kids in the house because he was with a different girl at the time who had children. At the very least, that's negligence of child safety. It's something, but nothing ever came of that either.
So, man, you mean to tell me this dude is doing all this crap in their house and nobody had the courage to not only kick him out, but put their foot up his ass? Nobody had the courage to do that?
So me and Daniel have gotten into a handful of scuffles since I became an adult,
Right.
and the issue is I 6-7 years ago now I moved out. I don't live with them, so I can't just keep showing up, beating his ass, throwing him out, and then doing it again the next day because the grandmother's not going to tell him no, because when you have an ex-gang member standing in your face saying, "Grandma, I'm moving back in," only so much he's going to really do.
Well, I guess the only I can say, you said the grandma had a lot of problems, so it wasn't just really nothing much she could do. So she pretty much just said yes to everything. So I guess in a sense I can understand it. But
I still think she holds some responsibility.
oh, trust me, I do too. For what you tell
Yeah.
me, I do too. Yes, I'm not gonna just totally exclude her from this. But however, though, it's only so many chances you can give somebody, man. And then when you just told me that the house burned down, that would have been the last draw. Either you leave, or I'm gonna make you leave. Either with my foot in your ass or a bullet in your ass, because you have done too much over here for me to keep continuing to allow you to stay here. Okay? And this is why I say a lot of times, man, when it comes to family members, I don't know what it is. You only got two cheeks. Once you turn the other cheek, you ain't got no more cheeks left. But apparently we got imaginary cheeks we could turn to let people keep doing this stuff that they doing and bringing rain down on us. Because I guarantee you when the house burned down, he didn't put out no kind of funds to help everybody get into a better place, did he?
No. No.
See what I'm saying? So when the grandmama found another house, she should have said, "Hey, everybody welcome, except for you, bro. I don't give a fuck where you at, but you can't come up here though. You have done too damn much." And see, and this is why, and I'm pretty much sure you've heard this before. People will only do what you allow them to do. If you allow them to keep on doing it, he's going to keep on doing it. And that's what he was doing. He kept on doing it because he was allowed to keep on doing it. So I hate that but at the same time, man, wow. Oh, man, wow. And to you too, man, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. I'm sorry to hear this, man.
Yeah, it is. One thing I do actually want to, I think I saw this comment earlier in there. One thing I do want to address is, a lot of people in all over all the videos I'm seeing are, how didn't the neighbors hear? The trailers are so thin. How didn't the grandmother hear? If you listen to the prosecutor, they don't say it directly, but Chulo had wounds inside his mouth.
Yeah, I heard that. They said
So,
that. I heard it.
In my head, I've been in that trailer. You could stand, 5 feet from the side of that trailer, and if you're having a normal volume conversation, the people outside that trailer can hear you. So if you've got screaming kids, you can hear that 2, 3, 4, 5 houses down. So in my mind, they had to have been gagging this kid for a majority of this abuse because, the one neighbor next door, the one who did the interview, I know her, pretty well. There's no way she would have heard that and not called the police.
Yeah.
Like, she's a busybody, she don't work. She stays at home. And there's just no way she would have heard that. The house 2 doors down, you got some good people living there. If they would have heard that, they would have called the police. You got people with kids in both the trailers behind them. If they would have heard that, I don't think they would have not called the police.
I didn't even think about that.
I fully believe they gagged that child.
I didn't even think about that. You just brought something new to my mind. I didn't even think about that. Why people saying that they didn't hear it, but now the solution that you gave, and I didn't even think about that. That's probably what it was. And every time they started to do it, they had it to where he can't scream because children with autism, if he had it, a lot of children with autism screams loudly. There ain't no getting around that. You would hear that.
And
so
some of them are silent. Some of them are pretty nonverbal. So for it also could have been the case that the kid was, it's disgusting to say, so used to it that they maybe didn't even have to do that sometimes. You beat a kid enough. I know from personal experience, you get to a certain point, you just kind of curl up and take it until it stops.
Right. So man, put all this together, man. You got this dude here. It seemed like he was on the track, but something happened. He started going left. He has a baby mom. According to you, she ain't wrapped too tight. So one of the kids may be in foster care. He gets with this idiot, and he just go all over the place with it, to the point that he single out this child and they both together just doing all the fuck shit to this child and kiki and cockeying about it, So again, man, this right here, you don't have to call it what it is. It's a whole shit show. And it seemed like it involved a whole lot of people who really wasn't shit. You know, in the first place, who didn't want shit in the first place, you know. And wow, this is and but see, these stories go deeper than what the surface scratches. We can hear all these new articles all we want to. They only gonna give us so much, and I understand because the investigation probably still is going on. That's why I like to talk to people like you or whoever that's surrounding the story. They can tell you more that the news is not putting out there. And as always, the rabbit hole is deeper than what we thought that it is. And you just confirmed it. The rabbit hole is always deeper than what it is. Wow, man. Wow, man. But that's all the questions I got, man. I appreciate your time. This is wild, man. It's probably going to weigh on my mind for a minute, man, because this dude is just horrible, man. But if you got some last words you want to say, hey, take your time, man. I'll get to you. Let you say the last words, man. But this dude is awful. This dude is awful, man. Go ahead. You got something you want to say? Go ahead.
I guess all I got left to say is, I'm not going to tell you guys who I am, but, I'm going to do everything in my power to be at that court case. And if you see someone getting tackled for spitting in his face, that's me.
I'll be on the lookout for that. That is wild, man. Oh, well, let me ask you this before you go there. What is the current status now? Because I don't think I've seen any updates, So what is the update on it now, or just pretty much still same thing what we seen on the news clips?
So the current status as of now, both of them are obviously in custody.
Yes.
No bail. Yesterday there was a probable cause hearing to extend the date. Basically, they needed more time to go over evidence until the next court case, or until they need more time to get evidence before they begin the court case to, go over everything they have, make sure they have everything. And that takes place on 9/11 at 11 a.m., I believe.
All right, man. Well, you can do me the honors or do me the favor, man. Any new thing that come out, I don't catch it, man. Please be sure to share that with me because I want to keep everybody up to this story, man. So whatever comes out, man, please share with me, my man.
Yep, I'll go ahead and I'll actually send you the link to that video after this.
All right, cool. I sure appreciate it. Well, man, again, man, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing more light. Because really, for what you're telling me, it's almost as if I really didn't need this because I already called it out, But it's always good to get more insight of what's going on with this story, man. You have a good night, man, and we'll keep in touch, brother. You got my contact. We'll keep in touch.
All right, man. You have a good one.
Hey, you too, man. I appreciate you. All right. Again, what can I say, y'all? I tell y'all every time, y'all gonna listen to me one day. Even though I don't have children, but when it comes to stuff like this, seriously, you don't need a child to know what's right or wrong, or you don't need a child to know what you would not do, and what you would not allow to do, or what you're not allowed to happen with your child, or let alone somebody's child that you are caring for, that you have in your custody at the time, all right, or under your supervision, sort of say. You don't need a child to know that because you're not like that. You're not a monster like that, all right? And if you really do care about kids, you would never do nothing like this, okay? You would never do anything like this. But however, though, you can just hear a lot of these stories that I do, or DJ Just J do, or whoever, and you can pinpoint what's going on. Everything he said, I already said it to y'all. Did I not? I already said it. Minus the autism, well, I guess he still don't know yet, but it's just speculation. I'm almost sure that's what it is. The boy had a disability. He got picked out because this bitch got tired of taking care of him. And of course, this asshole didn't know how to deal with it because the motherfucker wasn't doing shit with his own children. At one point, he was. All right? But then all of a sudden, he stopped. Okay? So you know he didn't really give a fuck. So I don't know who started off the abuse. Was it her? 9 times 10 it was her. And he joined? Or did he started off the abuse to that boy and she joined? But regardless of how it happened, both of them are pieces of shit. And for you as a mom who has 3 children, you spit out your ass. 3 children. You would sit back with this scuzz bucket ass fool and laugh at what a man does to your child who is less fortunate than your other 2 child. Your bitch ass would sit up here and laugh at it with this asshole here. Who ain't got shit, ain't worth shit, and like my grandma used to say back in the day, ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. You sit back and laugh. Then take pictures of other children pointing a gun at this boy. We have some demons in this world. I appreciate you, Lemon Jack. I sure appreciate you, my man. You stay in touch with me, man. Please do. We have some horrible individuals in this world. All right? Somebody said to me a long time ago on one of my videos on my other channel, they said, Chris, you know, I watch you a lot, but the thing you said about if it was a man versus a woman, she said, I don't want to say you a misogynist, but some other shit she said, why would I be considered a misogynist when you can see for yourself the different realities of what happens to the genders? Okay? You can see it yourself what happened to them. And I think the story they were talking about when the woman had pushed the baby off on the railroad tracks or something, but the baby survived though. And I don't remember anybody doing anything to her. I think she got in trouble, but it was like people watched it. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was something about she pushed the baby out on the subway tracks. And I kept saying if that was a man that did that, this and that and the third would have happened. That's not me being no damn misogynist. It would have happened. Because we are looked at to a higher standard. That's why they would have got us. Even for this fool right here. A lot of people looked at him as a higher standard because he's a man. He's a man. So he's going to always be looked at as a higher standard. But here's the thing you say about that. When does that go out the window when you finally realize that the man you see before you is now holding himself to a higher standard? When do you say, fuck that? You're not what I need. You're not what I need. You're not bringing them to the table. You are hurting everybody who you come across. And I guarantee you, he one of the motherfuckers that if somebody did told him the truth, he'd be one of the motherfuckers to be up there trying to blame everybody else except for himself. It's everybody else's fault except for himself. It's everybody else's fault except for himself. Guaranteed he going to interview, he going to blame it on her. Guaranteed he going to blame it on her. Guaranteed he going to blame it on her. But see, here's the question though. Is she going to defend herself and stand up to him and say, no, you're not going to put all that on me. We both did it. We both did it. I don't know how these people been raised these days, but they raised up fucked up. And again, just like I was telling Lemon Jack, you know, it's something about family members. They don't want to let the family members go. I don't know, they're afraid of being alone or what. But with people like him, they don't want to let them go. They want to keep them there. But why? He's not bringing anything of substance. He doing substance, but he's not bringing anything of substance that's going to benefit and help the whole household. He's tearing up the household. Why is people scared to give people the boot and give yourself some peace of mind? Why? Well, they family don't want to see him on the street, man. Fuck them. Look, they family. The old saying goes, and I'm pretty much sure a lot of you would agree with me. The old saying goes, you cannot be helped until you help yourself first. Amen? You can't be helped unless you help yourself first. People are not going to help you until you try to help yourself first. Amen? All you have heard that before. And I'm pretty much sure somebody tried to teach that in him. Ain't nobody gonna really fuck with you, dude, unless you try to help yourself. But then again, you probably got a lot of people like Elaina, probably was desperate to be in a relationship. So she took the first thing, or the first person who she felt like they would accept her. At least that would have sounded like to me. To the point, she will allow this man to do this to her child and try to protect him and stop him from going to school, trying to protect him. Oh, shit. Whoa. He just sent me something. Oh, shit. Hold on. But again, man, y'all gonna listen to me one day, man. Y'all gonna listen to me one day. It's gonna be one day. Oh.
Rose Jennings.
Let's take a look at this.
Elaina Rose Jennings.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sarah Rennick on behalf of the people.
Guys, this is the channel of Community Advocate Network, and look like this the hearing.
Hello, Judge Jordan Zupke on behalf of Ms. Jennings, who is present by Zoom.
Ms. Jennings, if you would state your name for the record.
My name is Elaina Rose Jennings.
And you consent to Zoom this morning, Ms. Jennings?
Yes.
All right. Today's date and time scheduled for probable cause conference. It's my understanding that this file will accompany the co-defendant's file. On that previous file, we're having that probable cause conference, or this probable cause conference rather, reset for September 11th at 11 a.m. I don't think it would make much sense to do anything different, but I'm happy to hear from the parties if anybody is seeking to go in an opposite direction.
No, Your Honor. Just for this record, I did tender to Mr. Zupke over 200 pages, just initial discovery this morning. We have identified up 200 other files of photographs, interviews, body cam, etc., that need to get over to him. And we are still awaiting the autopsy protocol. So those are the reasons that I am respectfully requesting a waiver of the 21 days and resetting the probable cause conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Green. Mr. Zupke?
Judge, I would just ask the court to find good cause for the waiver, other than perhaps waive the 21-day rule herself.
All right. Good
Given the
causes.
voluminous discovery, it will take time, obviously. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Zupke. You can finish your thought.
No, that was it. Just that there is voluminous discovery, and I obviously need to review it before we can have any productive conversation about the case.
Certainly, it wouldn't make much sense, I don't think, to do anything else. So I'm going to find good cause to waive the 21 days because I think only a portion of discovery has been tendered. There's a lot more outstanding, and investigations are still being done. So we'll have this reset for 9/11 at 11 a.m. Was there anything else we needed to address on this file?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr.
No,
Zuckerman?
No, Judge, thank you. Other than Ms. Jennings, I will come see you hopefully next week, all right?
Sounds good.
Great.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see everybody back on 9/11.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't want to hide from them anymore. What do we do?
Are we not men?
Wow. Wow, how about that? Anyway, guys, thank y'all for joining me, and y'all know what's up, man. You know, we all got to do better, man. We got to do better, and we got to choose better. And I'll leave it at that. On your man, Chris Thorns, thank you for listening, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.